We all know the story of Noah's Ark, the flood. So we're going to be taking the story from Genesis, but I'm going to be coming into it from the New Testament, because that's where we're living right now. We're living in a New Testament time. So the story is Genesis 6 and 7. I'm going to start in Hebrews, but the whole premise of the story is Genesis 6 and 7. So we all know the story of Noah and the ark. Now, before I get to talking here, boy, this is a mess. Can you just kind of pull her right out there past Mike, please? Thank you. Next time I'm going to force Cindy to come. She's actually out of town with her mom this weekend. They went to Dallas to go visit my oldest daughter, who's in college up in Dallas, and so they all went to go visit her. Next time I'm going to be like, nope, I need you here. She's my legs. All right. Okay, so Noah's Ark. Let me come to you guys from a standpoint of this whole situation, okay? It's all about faith. Like I said, I'm coming to it from an Old Testament. We're going to an Old Testament story from the New Testament side. So, Hebrews chapter 11. We don't know 100% sure who wrote Hebrews. More than likely it was Paul. Doesn't matter. The whole book of Hebrews is breaking down what was happening in the Old Testament so we can see it through New Testament eyes. What was God doing? And it repeatedly says it's a foreshadowing of things to come. What God was doing was a foreshadowing of things to come. That means God was revealing himself in a way back then for us to see it today. And go, oh, that's what that was. Got it. So chapter 11 of Hebrews. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. For by it the people of old received their commendation. By faith we understand that the universe was created by the Word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of the things that are visible. So we're talking about faith right now. Now here I'm gonna jump to the Old Testament, to Genesis, real quick, to tell you guys about the story, and then we're gonna jump back there. Genesis chapter 6. So Genesis chapter 6, we're not that far removed from Adam and Eve in the garden. Adam died about 50 years before Noah was born. So you got to remember, there's still people on the earth at the time of Noah that were right at that same time too. But as you guys have seen, I'm guessing every person in this room and every person that hears this, even I've seen it in my short life, things change real quick and then go downhill real fast. And they have. I mean, we're dealing with just a few generations removed from the Garden of Eden, and things that got real bad. They went from bad to worse to worse to worse. So we're picking up here, beginning of chapter 6 in Genesis. When man began to multiply on the face of the land, the daughters were born to them. The sons of God saw that the daughters of man were attractive, and they took them as their wives, as they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit shall not abide in man forever in his flesh. His days are 120 years. I got to stop right there and just really come at you guys here. Some of you probably already know this. He's saying in 120 years is over. Is over. Now he goes to, God continues to talk about how the Lord saw the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and every intention of his heart was evil. And the Lord regretted that he made man. And he said, I will blot him out, whom I have created on the face of the land. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So we've got, let me kind of back up even past that. Before the flood, it had never rained a day on this earth. During the creation story, the water and the land were separated, and it says the water was in the earth and above the firmament of the air. Above the earth and in the earth. It had never rained. Now, God goes to Noah and goes, listen up, buddy. In 120 years, it's going to flood. You better build an ark. Now, us, right now, we know, oh, I know what a flood looks like. I've seen it on TV. Probably just today there was things on TV about floods somewhere. There's always a flood somewhere. In the time of Noah, it had never rained. And God goes to Noah and goes, hey buddy, listen. I'm about to wipe out everything. It is going to rain like it ain't never happened before. You better build that ark. Now here's where I'm going with this. The amount of faith that would have taken for Noah to go, okay, so you want me to spend the next 120 years building an ark for something that's never happened before because you're telling me it's going to happen. I think that's why Noah is repeatedly used in the New Testament, is because the faith that he showed at that moment. Because it had never rained. And I think in my own life, in my own experiences, how many times people have come to me and gone, what on earth are you doing, Luke? That's foolishness. And I'm doing exactly where God's put me. I am going, okay, God, if that's what you got for me, let's rock and roll. Despite what people say. I mean, no joke at all. I get calls from people that are like, what are you doing? Go get a real job. What you are doing is not a real job. I'm preaching and doing church services. You need to go get a real job. And so, I looked at this story and I go, here's a situation where God was telling a person, you have no idea what's about to happen, but you better trust me because it's about to happen and you've never seen it before. But it's going to happen. Now back in Hebrews, it says, by faith, Noah, being warned by God concerning the events is not yet seen, in reverent fear, constructed an ark for saving his whole household. By this, he condemned the world and became the heir of the righteousness that comes by faith. So again, we have this situation with this guy. Because I got to tell you guys, if God came to me today and said, look, there's something about to happen. It's never happened before. But it's going to happen in 100 years. So start building now. I'd be going, you want me to do what? What? I wonder how many people were going to Noah going, you are an idiot. What are you doing building that big boat talking about it's going to rain? It's never rained for 1,000 years, and you're saying it's going to rain. But Noah had faith that no matter what people said, he had a God that was in control. And I think to this in terms of increasing our faith. Having faith that isn't wavering. Having faith to go, I fully trust in God. You know, this morning I woke up, and it seems every day that I get older, I wake up with a new spasm or pain in my body. And I woke up this morning. I woke up this morning, and my back was all twingy. And I thought, oh, I hate that. And you know what I thought of? About 3 years ago, I was at the gym, because believe it or not, these muscles, they come from the gym. I was at the gym, and I went to go throw some weight up, because I do bad, horrible form, and I was going to do bench press, but I was just using dumbbells. So I sit down on the bench, and I go to swing the weight back to kick it up, and lay back. And I messed my back up something fierce. I felt it as soon as it happened, and I dropped the weight, and I knew I was in really big trouble. And I thought, I better get to that car before I can't get to that car, because something happened. And I went to the car, and I called Shara, and I was like, something happened to my back. So, got into the chiropractor right away, because I thought, man, I don't like being down. Because, you know, here's the thing, guys. The back, that's most of you. If you bust your finger, you just put a little splint on that. But your back, you can't splint your back. You can't not use your back. Because your back is most of you. So if that goes out, you are in big trouble. So, go to the chiropractor. And the chiropractor was explaining what happened is, I pinched something. So then the rest of my body tightened up to try to compensate for it. And until those muscles let go, he couldn't fix it. Because those muscles were going to hold on tight. So for the next week, I was going to walk like this. Because I got muscles trying to protect that nerve and trying to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And I'm in pain. And I thought about that in relation to our lives. How often we go, well, hold it. Let me hold on to this a little bit tighter. Let me try to fix this problem myself a little bit longer. And it's only in that moment where we go, okay, I'm done doing this myself. I'm going to trust God. Let me stop being me and put God on the throne in my life. That, boom, everything fixed. And I'll never forget that moment when I went back to chiropractor like 3, 4, 5 days later. And again, I'm walking in there like this. But my muscles had started loosening up a little bit. And I laid down, and I will never forget. Dude grabbed my leg. He kind of did like this little jerky motion. And it was like, boom, all of a sudden I was healed. I have never felt better in my entire life. But it was only in the moment when my muscles let go and stopped trying to protect everything that I was able to be healed. And isn't that the same thing with our relationship with God? When we stop trying to rule our lives and let God rule our lives, that we're able to fully experience that. And until that moment comes, man, God tells us to do things like build an ark, and we're going to be going, you want me to do what? Because reality here on earth tells me otherwise. But it's that moment when we put God as the king of our lives and we go, all right, what you got for me, let's do it. Because I trust what you say you're going to do, you will deliver. And man, our lives change in that moment. That's why in Hebrews, Noah is used as the example of faith. Because I think it would be hard for me in that situation to go, okay, I have no idea what a flood looks like or what a flood's going to be like. Because I've never seen it. Never heard of it. Nobody ever has. But all right, God, let me build a boat. Let me build a boat, and I'm going to give a 3-word sermon. It's going to rain. So, my prayer for each and every one of us is that we can increase our faith. That we don't try to do this ourselves. We don't feel like the weight of the world is on our shoulders, because it doesn't have to be. That's why the book of Hebrews breaks down all of those Old Testament stories so we can see how it relates to New Testament Christians. Because Jesus he bore it all. He bore it all for us. So we don't have to do it. Just like it says in Ephesians, we're not saved by faith. Or we're not saved by works, I'm sorry. Gosh, man, it is one of those days. We're not saved by works, it's by faith. So, I am tongue-tied like crazy. I need to drink more of this coffee. That's my problem, actually, guys. Next time, that'll be empty before I come. So we're saved by faith. And it's that faith in God. That what he says is going to deliver. So, let's go ahead and pray. Now, as I pray out loud, I want each of you guys to pray in your hearts. Because I promise you, God hears your heart. I'll just be a spokesman, but we all have something on our hearts for God. So let's pray. Dear Lord, I just thank you so much for this opportunity, Lord. I thank you that you gave us the example of Noah and his faith in what you said, Lord. I pray you just increase every one of our faith in you. That we don't feel like we have to try to figure things out ourselves, do things ourselves, Lord. But we're able to trust you in a way where we don't question. What you say, we know is true, Lord. It's that faith of things not yet seen. I pray, Lord, that you just let us feel you in this room today, Lord. Just light a fire in each and every heart. We love you and we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.